What happens is when it gets over that 10 million or 5 million revenue point and private equity starts getting interested, the multiple on earnings goes up.
Like maybe 10, right?
Like 10, 15. I mean, some are 25, right? So you're talking about buying companies at 5 million, right? Which let's say it's 3 million. Okay. That's an easy number. Let's say the business does 3 million in revenue. We'll just say 500,000 in profit. Okay. That business is probably going to be valued at $1.5 million, 3 times on earnings. Could be less, could be more, but let's just say 1.5. That's a pretty accurate number for today's market. Now, let's say you buy 10 of those. Okay. Now you're looking at 5 million in profit and 30 million in revenue, right? That business might be a 10 times multiple. So the arbitrage between what you bought for to what you can sell for simply by conglomerating those companies is 7 times.
And potentially with your systems, you've actually even made that greater, right?
Exactly.
So you're getting a multiple on that as well.
So there's
just the aggregation.
Equity. Yeah. I mean, you can add equity value to the company too by instituting those systems.
Yeah.
This is the Twin Cities Real Estate Investing Show. Real stories, real success in Twin Cities real estate. Join your hosts, Adam Tafel and Tim Swierczek, as they dive into the world of Twin Cities real estate investing. Together, they share valuable insights and practical tips to help both new and seasoned investors navigate the Minneapolis-St. Paul market. With a focus on relatable stories from real people, this show will empower you with the knowledge and confidence to thrive in your investing journey. Guys, take it from here.
What's going on, Tim?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Doing well. Tyler Joas today.
Yeah. I didn't know Tyler, although I'd seen his name online quite a bit in the forums. I had never met him before. And actually, I didn't know, I guess because of what I saw online, I didn't know that he was solely a contractor. I thought he was also an investor. So
here's the thing about this episode, you guys. Tyler is not a real estate investor. So if you are an absolute purist and you only want to listen to real estate investors talk, then I guess find a different episode. But I think you should listen to this episode because we get into a lot of things that will relate to you as an investor. Good takeaways for working with contractors. And here's the thing. Tyler is 28 years old and he is scaling an incredibly successful business in the Twin Cities. He's just like the American dream times 10, like he's an impressive guy. It's an inspiring story. I can't freaking wait to see when he's 5 years from now, where he's going to be. Yeah. My gosh. So that's why you should listen.
Well, and not just that, I want to go back to one thing you said. I purposely wanted some content that investors could, dig something out of, and that talk about like working with a contractor. I want to highlight that. We actually asked the questions of some of the things you should know and what'll make it better for you working with a contractor, and some of the things they go through behind the scenes so you can work better with them. And there's a few other nuggets, just kind of questions we went into to help you if you are only interested in the real estate part.
Yeah, 100%. So a little bit of a different guest, but an awesome, just a good friend of mine and an all around very good dude. And here are the sponsors.
Well, hold on one second. Sign up for InvestFest. That is one of the things we're going to ask for today. Click on the link, go to our website, and sign up for InvestFest.
InvestFest. Bye. Here's the sponsors. One of the hardest parts of investing is finding a solid property manager. I've worked with plenty over the years. Some are better than others. Earlier this year, I did a 10-unit deal where John and his team at RPM Viking handled the management for our mutual out-of-state client. They were professional, they were responsive, they delivered exactly as promised. Now they are my #1 management referral, and I'm proud to have them supporting the show. Learn more at rpmviking.com. Use the code TCREI300 for $300 off maintenance services when you sign up with RPM Viking as your property manager. Thanks for sponsoring the show. Welcome to the Twin Cities Real Estate Investing Show, brought to you by Shook. Shook is the all-in-one platform to help you manage your rentals, built for real estate investors just like us. Shook features maintenance and expense tracking, including tenant-generated maintenance tickets and an IRS-aligned expense tracker. At just $5 a unit per month, it's worth checking out shookrentals.com. That's SHUK rentals.com, or booking a live demo in the show notes. Now, on to the episode. Investors, if a deal gets messy, call Network Title. They can handle the BRRRR, the 1031, mixed use, commercial, whatever it takes, so you can close on time. Working with Network Title is kind of like having another personal assistant. That's how on the ball these people are. Network Title, complex deals made simple. Link in the show notes. All right, what's up, Tyler? We're officially live.
Awesome.
What's going on, guys?
Hey,
Awesome.
man.
Man, isn't it good that I caught that now?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
That's
If we
awesome.
would have went the whole thing. Yeah, so why don't you guys, I can tell from our pre-game here that you guys know each other, so tell me the story. How'd you guys meet?
Yeah. So in 2018 or 2019, I made a post on Bigger Pockets looking to expand my general contractor connections. I was working with young house hackers, and I had Victor. Remember Victor? Mm-hmm. And he was the only show in town because he was Jordan Moorhead's buddy. And I'm like, man, I need some competition. I can't just be like, this is my one person. And so Tyler answered. We got coffee at Nina's, and we talked about real estate. And how old were you then? Yeah, I mean, you had just graduated St.
I would have had
Thomas,
to be
right?
22. Yeah,
Okay.
21, 22.
Because you're coming up on 30 now? Around
20, 28. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And I just remember this guy is hungry, and I had the clients, and then ever since then, he's been one of my go-to referrals, and we're going to hear his whole story today. But, we've had good times together, and this episode is a little bit different because you wouldn't introduce yourself as a real estate investor.
No, not at all.
You are investing in real estate technically, but I think that your story is so like it's housing adjacent. I mean, it is housing, right? Doing what and I think our listeners are really going to appreciate hearing your story. It's just entrepreneurship in the housing industry in the Twin Cities. This is what it can look like.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would not. I wouldn't classify myself as a real estate investor, but obviously working with you and being a general contractor, I'm pretty familiar with how a lot of real estate investing is structured and operates in the Twin Cities market. So.
And I have a feeling you will be. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, right?
Yeah, it's definitely the plan.
You probably will own some investment properties, whether it's like just buying into a syndication or something at some point in your life. I would imagine.
Totally. Yeah, 100% is the plan. It's just, I've been pretty heavily involved and invested in my business for the last 6 years. So that's where my energy and my investment has gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, let's go back, right? You went to St. Thomas for business, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, entrepreneurship.
What was your experience at St. Thomas like?
It was great. I mean, it's a great school. You get a really hands-on experience. Like I remember in our classes, we were starting businesses. That's what we had to do. So it was not as much like theory and, studying textbooks as much as like you have to create a business, a product, source it, sell it, market it. So yeah, that was kind of the start of, I wouldn't say that was the start. That was kind of a next step for me in business ownership. Both my parents were entrepreneurs, so kind of made it an easy.
What industries were they in?
Real estate. So my dad was a home builder.
Okay.
And then my mom actually owned a women's clothing manufacturing company.
Oh,
really?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. I like your parents. For the little time I've spent with them. And your dad now he owns like an ice cream shop?
Yep.
That's his gig?
Yeah. Now they own an ice cream shop
In Minnesota or somewhere else?
Yeah, in Minnesota in Prior Lake, and then they do their kind of Airbnb resort business down in Mankato. So that's pretty much where they spend most of their time now.
Meaning they own a resort in Mankato and
it's like a bed and breakfast style like type Airbnb, right? Big property. My dad built the whole thing by himself, but I want to say it's about 8,000 square feet, sleeps 30, like big property for like family retreat style vacations. And that's down in, just outside of Mankato on a lake.
Okay, sweet.
So when you were growing up, your dad was an active home builder. Did you you grew up around the industry?
Oh,
you ever work with him at all growing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would say from when, all of us kids could start walking, we were pretty familiar with being on job sites and walking around, vacuuming stuff up and just little job site type
What do you
stuff.
remember from that? Did you like it? Did you find it annoying because Dad made you do it, or what was it like back then?
I don't remember having like a strong opinion about whether I liked it or didn't like it. I think as I got older, I didn't like it because it was hard work, and I, would rather be out playing football than being at a job site. But looking back on it, I have memories of it, and I remember it, and it obviously made a huge impact on kind of where I'm at today. So.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I bring my kids to showings. I try not to do it too often for obvious reasons, but like Dutchie, these kids like they grasp onto interesting things. Like he must have a memory of us looking at like the valve on a water heater at one point, the gas valve point. Yeah. Every time we get in the basement, he's like, "Daddy, it's right here." It's right here. He points to the valve.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome.
And they're super familiar with the house showing process. So hopefully I'll have a couple young.
He'll be in real estate.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. Yeah. 18 years from now, I'll probably be about ready to do something else.
So yeah, awesome. Well, tell us about, so you graduate, right? Was the business you worked on, did you start the business you worked on when you were in school, or did you start a new business?
No. So I actually, I had the skill set to do, to do construction work. It was not my intention upon graduation to start my own business. I actually wanted to go and work in development. Like that's what I really wanted to do. I was talking with Ryan companies and Mortensen. I was with some of the bigger, commercial construction companies around here. I wanted to go work with them. But I graduated college in 2020, spring of 2020. So throughout that interview process, it very quickly became, we're not hiring anyone. We don't know what's going on with this whole COVID thing. So that got shut down, and had to figure something out and pay the bills. And I was like, well, I know construction. I've been building stuff my whole life, working with my dad, and kind of just went from there, right?
So the day you decide, okay, I'm going to start construction, how do you do that? Like, what's the first step? Are people hitting you up? Because if we met before, so we met when you were still in school.
I think we met, I don't recall exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was spring of 2020.
Okay.
Because that's when I really was like, look, I know how to build. Like, I know I have all the tools. Like, I can do this. But yeah, I was basically just going on all of the, like, Bigger Pockets was one where I was trying to find real estate investors that needed people to help them, flip or remodel homes. I was posting in Facebook, like, neighborhood groups back when that was still kind of like a new thing. Like, I know it's probably gotten to the point where it's annoying now, but back in 2020, like, it wasn't super popular. You post in a neighborhood Facebook group and you could have 20 to 30 people contact you and say, hey, I want to tile my bathroom or put a backsplash in or whatever. So
there's something to be said for being one of the first people who get in a space like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think about like Adam, the Duckwall brothers, and Zillow, right? Yeah. Some of those Zillow entrepreneurs who started buying zip codes back in the day. Jordan Moorhead and you with the Bigger Pockets, and then me by association. Just something to think about, entrepreneurs listening. What is that thing now? It's probably AI.
It's AI.
Actually, Meetup was really big back then too.
There you go. The firstest gets the mostest.
Yeah.
Right? It's funny you say AI because, like, I totally agree with what you just said with the being the first to do it. But like, I remember when ChatGPT was like really getting big and people were using it, and we were just like feeding ChatGPT like as much information about our business as we could and trying to like, you know, feed the algorithm. And sure enough, like last summer, we got like 15 to 20 people that called us saying ChatGPT referred us in the area. So
yeah, I have my admin doing like SEO things daily now because I have gotten a few ChatGPT leads, but then ChatGPT, when I ask to recommend an investment-friendly realtor in St. Paul, sometimes it's people who are clearly not selling much in St. Paul, but there's something about their either Google My Business or they've been on certain forums. It's just association and how many throughout the internet, how many times can you associate your name with these keywords?
And it changes, right? Like they're constantly tweaking like how those AIs work. So I think it's tough to, but if you can figure it out, like it's definitely the next thing that's coming and a great source for leads.
I had one of my clients try to figure out ask a pet policy question in ChatGPT, and it referenced me on a post that I made on Bigger Pockets.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily me that it was doing Bigger Pockets, but it just so happened to find my answer is the most relevant answer to her. And she's like, so I just used it. And I was like, well, that was an old post, and I've actually changed I no longer do it that way. Here's how I do it now.
Right.
But I was like very flattered nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean it knows it all. Anything that's out there, it knows it.
Gronk is recommending me right now, but ChatGPT is not. So that's what we're working on.
You got to get on Claude. Claude's taken over.
I hear about Claude 5 times a day right now.
Yeah. I think ChatGPT.
I think it's because they're paying influencers, don't you? I think I see Claude so much. Like if I'm on X, I might see Claude like six posts in a row.
Yeah,
and I think they're just paying influencers to like post content about how great it is and how much money you can make on it, and that's their advertising.
So here's what's interesting. I don't know if you guys even want to talk about AI, but we just a little bit. Okay,
a little bit. Like, I don't think it needs to dominate the conversation.
Yeah, right. Claude is super, super powerful. Like in our experience using it, like we're building real things on there. Like we're building agents and like employees in our business that are doing tasks for us in Claude. Mm-hmm. ChatGPT was unable to do that for computer? Us. What's that?
I
run it on a MacBook.
Yeah. So it's only on when your computer's on, or do you just leave the MacBook running all the time?
You can set it as a skill. So it's kind of complex how this all works. And there's people that are way more, like I'm not an AI expert by any means. We're learning and, investing in people that teach AI. But there's certain projects and skills that you can kind of like categorize in Claude, and you can get it to either complete tasks at, with instruction, right? So I can click a button and that'll then trigger this series of events that Claude will do for me.
Yeah.
Or you can set it to be on a recurring timeline basis. Those are the two like functions that we've found work. So
can I just ask a clarifying question?
Yeah.
When you say do for me, how far away are we from having like, now it's the cursor on my computer, it's going into Gmail, it's going into this program. Like when you say
it does it all.
There's some of that already. Yeah.
It's doing it all. So like in the person that I've learned a lot of this from, she's actually based out of Minnesota. Her name is Callan Faulkner. She's blowing up like crazy right now. Because she's teaching this AI automation. So basically, her company she has about 10 human employees that manage over 200 AI employees that are, like the job of the human employees is to manage the AI employees for completing these tasks.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like I can click a button and once we have a job that's sold, right? And it will pull the information from our CRM. It'll fully fill out and send out a contract, send out an initial invoice, and create a payment schedule all at the click of a button without me doing anything in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like that's one way that just the automation, it's connecting our CRM to our DocuSign, to our QuickBooks, to our email, and then building it all in a Google Drive folder and tracking it all at the click of a button.
Yeah.
A lot of people are freaked out about AI. I don't love it just as a human, who cares about people and things in the world. I really don't love it. Like, I almost wish it wasn't here, but it is here. And I think things tend to go the opposite way a lot of time in life, right? There was a lot of fear around COVID in the housing market, for example, and it just made every market went freaking bananas when COVID happened. And I think you can think of a lot of points in history where we thought this was going to be the end, right? And then the opposite happens. So I could see us going into just this world of absolute abundance, right?
Yeah, if it does happen, my thought is if that does happen, we're going to need massive amounts of leisure. So instead of time won't be all that important anymore because you'll have all of it, right? Like right now, time is so precious, right? But if you have unlimited time because you don't have to work anymore, now it becomes, well, what am I going to do with my time? And if it's not work, what is it, right? Yeah. So I feel like that's some version of leisure, and we could talk about like education as being part of it, or true leisure, or exercise, or whatever. And I think all of those businesses are going to explode, but they're going to have, like everyone wanting, like I like to ski. What if, like right now I can go on a Tuesday, go skiing and the hill's empty. Yeah. What if it's completely packed, like it's a holiday, and there's people waiting that can't get in because there's just not enough spots.
Right.
Everywhere, right? So I wonder, like, to me, that's the logical conclusion is like ski hills will be packed during the winter and golf courses will be impossible to get on. And, like, how do we build more of all of this, right? That's my thought anyway. I think more gyms and more, like, coffee spaces and whatever.
Yeah, it's totally an interesting question. Like, I've had the same thoughts for sure. I think where I'm at right now is, like, I believe that it's like the creation of, like, a tractor, right? When it used to take 100 people to, farm one field, you create a tractor, and it changes the way that, humans are always going to seek work and doing more and progress and whatever. Like I just think that's our nature. So it'll be, I think short-term layoffs and all this stuff, like it's happening. But I think work will totally evolve, and like just how far we're able to drive and how fast we're able to drive is really what it looks like from my perspective right now. But if we have more leisure time, that's great. Like I think businesses like you're talking about, skiing, golf, like we're gonna have to be getting some more land and trying to put more golf courses out there for sure.
Yeah, maybe 1216 Selby will be like a pickleball arena.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a bad idea. Mm-hmm. All right, so get back to real estate.
Yep.
So you're 22 and you're running a general contracting business, which is difficult, right? It's a messy, difficult business. When you say,
totally,
things go wrong, employees and problems and complaints, and what's that like, man? What was it like?
It was a nightmare.
Okay. By the way, we've never had this conversation.
Yeah, we haven't. No. It's a hard business. It's really hard to have systems. Everything is custom. There's so many unknowns. So it was hard. And I was doing a lot of the work myself for the first year until we hired people. And being a general contractor is great, but like more so I was just a glorified like carpenter who did my own work and sold my own jobs, right? Mm-hmm. For it to evolve into a business, like I think it's tough to be like a jack of all trades that does it all. Oh, I do bathrooms, I do kitchens, I do basement finishes, I'll put your flooring in, I'll do your roof, I'll do your gutters, I'll do your siding, I'll put a deck on your house. There's certainly craftsmen out there that can do that, but it wasn't working, which is exactly why we, niched down over time.
Were there certain things, if anyone's listening right now, starting their own handyman business, were there certain organizational things that you wish you would have done from day one that you just didn't do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the list is endless, and that's, probably more a reflection on me and just where I was at in terms of business at that point in time. But, I mean, I think the most important thing is like you need to create as many systems in your business as possible. Everything from quoting to your material procurement to how you're doing the actual project. And then even figuring out like, hey, what kind of projects do I excel at? Like that's the first thing that I think when you figure out, like, that's the most important thing to figure out. What do I excel at? What do I like doing? And what do I want to do more of? I think it's same goes for real estate, right? But when you're super diversified, it's really hard to be a master and perform at a really, really high level if you're not in one kind of specific area.
Or even an adequate level.
Right.
Like, I
or
mean,
even an adequate
it's hard
level.
to be adequate at both plumbing, electrical, and carpentry all at the same time. Those three things.
Impossible, right? I would say.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I found that. So like when we have handymen, we always ask, what jobs do you like to do and what are you good at? And if you hear everything, then you automatically know, okay, well, this person doesn't even know what they're good at because they're not, right?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's for me, number one, like, hey, figure out what you like to do, what you want to do, and do that thing. As a general contractor, right, that's kind of a different thing because then you're the one managing the project and finding people to do it. Like that's really the right way to do it. If you're a true general contractor, you're not the one going in doing the work.
So tell us, when did you build your first deck, and was that immediately an eye-opening moment?
No, so I built my first deck in 2022, and it took 2 weeks, and kind of like the same thing that we were just talking about. I think I said to our employee that I was building it with, I was like, we're never building another deck again. Never.
How many decks have you built at this point, do you think?
Couple hundred.
Okay.
Yeah, last year was our biggest year, and we built 102. But we've been pretty consistently doubling our volume for the past 4 years.
And we'll get there, but I just thought that'd be a good time to ask.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was it about? What didn't you like about building that first deck?
We didn't know what we didn't like. It took so long to figure out how to do everything right. When you go through and do things the first time, like you end up reworking because like it's gonna be perfect. Like that, that's one thing that I think we've always stood by is like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. We're not going to take shortcuts, and we're not, if something goes wrong because of something that we've done, we're going to go back and fix it. And it was just a lot of that, like where it's like, I wish I would have known that when we were doing this part. Now I got to go back and take this off and fix this, right? So it just was a pain in the butt. It took us 2 weeks to build a pretty standard size 20 by 16 deck with stairs and a landing. And to put that into perspective, our crews now average 10 hours for that build.
Wow.
So, yeah, it took a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going about your life as a GC. I want to just paint a path to like specialization. What was there like an aha moment? Or go ahead, Tim.
Oh, I would love to, before we even get to that part, I'd really like people to know like what it's like working with a contractor. I just think so few people understand what you go through.
Oh, that's a
so
good
they
point.
have unrealistic expectations of what they're asking for so there's that saying out there, and let's start with this concept. There's a saying out there that you can choose service, quality, or price. You get to pick two of those. Like, explain how that might work when you were working with your clients and what people should know why they can't get all three. It's like impossible, right?
Or you
I
can,
think
you can have
what is
it
it?
fast and cheap,
Yep,
or
fast.
good and fast.
Yeah.
Or
It's
cheap
price,
and good.
it's price,
No.
speed, and quality.
Yeah, that's what I
Price,
just said.
speed, quality.
Well, service is speed, right?
Yeah. Yep. Price, speed, and quality. So it's like you can't have all three because if you want it to be fast and good, it's going to be expensive.
Right.
Why? Because you have to bring in more hands or more experts to get it done
And you have to have systems to do it fast, right? Like, the guy who's cheap doesn't have systems, right?
Exactly. So the investment of the contractor up front is significantly more.
Yeah.
Right? If you want it to be, what was the other one? What did we? Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Fast and good can't be cheap.
Yep.
Cheap
and fast, it can't be
cheap
good,
and,
right?
Cheap and fast
For
can't
obvious
be good,
reasons, right?
obviously.
Like, yep.
And then cheap and good,
it can't be fast, right? Because they're, then maybe they'll put one guy on it that can do it at a high level, but it's going to take them a long time. They're not investing the amount of resources into the project that are necessary to do it fast.
Yeah.
So anyone that's promising those three things,
or anyone who's expecting those three things, right? People always say, because people will always say, they'll say, well, I want an investor friendly contractor, right?
To me, that means cheap usually.
That's what they think, but they also then have typically high expectations.
They want the service.
And they need it done fast. Not even want, they have to, because their timeline is, well, I got a tenant moving in 3 days or whatever it might be, right? Like
some of the guys that Tim and I work with, the service could not be worse.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're trying to piss people off.
Sure.
Promising, I'll be there tomorrow. Not there.
everything's
ghosted.
Yes. There is no in the entire thing.
There's no. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. And we are getting, for the most part, we're getting cheap. What are we getting? Cheap and good, I guess.
See, and that's totally fine.
Cheap and goodish. It all depends on what the skill is, right? Like, again, and that goes back to the contractor thing. They are definitely jack of all trades, so they're better at some things other than others, right? And as long as you know what you're kind of dealing with, you're fine with it.
And I like I'm usually of the opinion, like, you know, don't go with the cheapest contractor unless you're someone like, you know, you guys who have a ton of experience and understand how houses work, and you're, you know, might be more so willing to manage and micromanage a contractor, right?
That's the biggest thing, is you have to become the GC, because what we end up seeing is there's usually a misunderstanding that typically could be somewhat language related, but just a misunderstanding in general, and they do something not the way you expected. Like, you had your shower and you're like, oh, sorry, I guess I thought you would have known this. You can't put a beam right in the middle of the shower. Let's redo the shower, right? And you get some of that, right? Or I've had it too, where I'm like, sorry, you got to tear it out. That's wrong, you know?
And if you're fully willing and like able and like accepting of that, then and that's a role you're willing to take on, go for it.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
Right.
I think back to like the first investor friendly contractor I worked with on the Hague place, who like he ghosted me, and like, dude, I was the worst. I thought I was being a nice guy, but I was changing things all the time. Getting ideas. Oh, sure. And then I thought I'd be nice, because I'd be like, well, how much extra for this? Because I'm like, I'm always asking him how much extra. I was driving the guy freaking nuts.
Oh, yeah.
And when he decided to just abandon me before the basement part of the job started, I'm like, I can't believe this freaking guy. Now I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. You know?
Yeah, changes in the middle of the project are not.
That's
so I don't think people understand that, right? So let's hit that subject, because I think it's a good one. I come to you and I ask you for a change. How does that, like, back in the contractor days, not your deck days?
Yeah.
How does that change everything about what you have to do? Like, how does it impact it? Because like in mortgage, sometimes people say, well, can we do this? And it's like a few hours before closing or a day before closing. I'm like, yeah, but that's all hands on deck.
Sure.
And now I don't know if we can close on time. And you're like, how could that be? And I'm like, well, because there's actually 6 different actions that have to happen in order for us to get that done in time.
Yeah.
And, and I'm not controlling over all of them, right? Like, I have to have title get involved. I have to have the appraiser get involved, and I have to do this.
Yeah.
All to satisfy this one request that you think's a computer stroke, right?
Yeah.
So for you, what would that be? Like,
I mean, it's super similar, but when you start a project like this, if you know what you're doing, you're like, everything is planned out and in order, and you're building everything to spec for an end product. So when things change, it depends on what the change is, right? And how that could affect that chain of events.
Okay, well, since you're doing decks now, let's relate it to a deck for a second. Someone is doing a deck with you, and they ask you for a change that seems simple, but is messed up.
Different style railing hardware.
Can you think of something like where you're like, oh, that actually reverses us back a little bit? Like, we're already at the point where we've got this done.
Yeah. So a lot of times that comes with like size changes. Like, we already have the footings installed, and it's like, oh, can we make it a little bit bigger here? Or for instance, hey, we want to change the decking. Okay, well, this decking is spec'd for the joist to be 12 inches on center.
Oh.
Now we have to frame everything at 16 inches on center, or this decking is for, spec for 12 inches on center. We're building this at 16 inches on center. Now we have to order more lumber, and then we have to change the build plan with the architect and go to the city and change the permit.
That's a perfect example, right? Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So people just don't understand that, right?
Yeah.
So they ask things that are hard, but they think they're super simple, right?
And a lot of it has to do with the permit process, because the city is super, like, it depends on the city. Most cities are super rigorous with the plan. And if it takes a long time to get, permits through and approved. So when they come out and do an inspection and it's not what's on the plan, they, that delays the entire process, right? Say you're waiting on this inspection. I'm waiting on my framing inspection to get my drywall done. Okay, well, if we framed up this wall in this location, the city's going to want an amendment to the plan. Now you're going to have to go in, do an amendment before you can cover it up. Then they want to come and re-inspect it. Well, what could have been approved like
Up
that
front. Yeah.
is now a couple weeks, So
Got it. And a couple of weeks is cost because, correct me if I'm wrong, but as a contractor, of course you have other jobs, but now the person who does, let's say, the framing might, in some cases, like especially as a general, doesn't necessarily lay the stuff. I'm sure in your decks, your guys do it all, but like in theory, on another project, the person who does one part of the project isn't doing the second part. So,
well, delays are cost for the general contractor. Part of that's because of, employees, but you have a schedule, right? Like if you're doing multiple projects at once, you have this entire schedule where people are, set to go to places at different times, and a 2-week delay, like the chain reaction of that schedule change is massive, right? If it's someone that's actually doing multiple projects, if it's, a guy doing a side project as himself, it's probably not as severe, but I mean, for a true general contractor,
because that person's kind of getting paid by the job, and if they lose 3 jobs that summer because of a change, even 2 jobs, that could be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in profit they lost from the jobs they couldn't do because they were delayed, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
So I think like the best way to address that is like putting like what I like to do is say someone is a little bit unsure, right? Like if we make a plan, this is the plan, let's do it. But up front, I want to ask like, hey, like, are you like, is there anything that you're questioning still, or like you have up in the air? Because once this is locked in, like it's locked in, and we need to do it this way. And if you can address that at the beginning between, both client and contractor, what helps is like, okay, so you're still considering this part. Well, let's cross that bridge right now, right? Because this is what's going to happen. We're going to have to change this if you want to do this, right? But the more that can be done up front and locked in on the contract is I understand changes happen. I fully expect them. But if you have those conversations up front, we've noticed that it's limited. It's way more limited than what it used to be when we weren't having those conversations. Like you have to question. As the general contractor, you have to question. Like, are you sure on this? Are you set on this? Like,
have you seen this before? Yeah.
We do. After we sell a job, like our project manager will go out with the entire list, the entire scope of work, and make sure that person is aligned on every single item, and then they sign off on it. Because, like, even if it's redundant, it's so important.
And I'm sure you had certain experiences, even as a very organized, specialized contractor, that led you to like, well, we better add this to the SOP.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't ever want that to happen again.
Exactly.
They're going to sign off on everything.
Exactly. Because it just doesn't work. And what we're trying to build, at least from our side, is scalability. And having as many checks and balances, even if you're not seeking mass scalability, having that many checks and balances is going to just help you be more efficient on whatever jobs you are doing. So
for someone who's like an investor listening to this, what I'm kind of hearing is like, think about what you want before you even call. Start to put a list together, even if it's rudimentary, of a scope of work.
Most general contractors are not designers.
Yeah, there you go.
And they're not going to give you design input or information that's going to help you. So some might. There's some design build firms out there that do a really great job.
Yeah.
I don't know how many investors that you guys are working with that are working with design build firms. I know from my experience.
Very few.
Yeah, I know from my experience working with investors it was a lot of questions to me in terms of design, which is fine. I can give you input on it from like a structural construction perspective.
Like how hard is it to do?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think fleshing out at the beginning, like, I think even maybe approaching it with like hey, these are the things that we want to do, and this is this is really our budget on this project, is going to help a good general contractor to come in and tell you what's possible and what can really be done. Mm-hmm.
These are our priorities. This is what I'd like to spend. How much? What's the best bang for the buck, right?
Yeah.
Like, how can we do this?
Yep.
I think that's a good way to do it. I actually used to do that with my contractor Julio, which is how I met Miguel, right? I would go in and I would say basically like, I want these things done. And I'd seen enough of their jobs, and I'd actually bought a house from them that he'd done, right? And so I knew that the level of work they did. And I was just like, if you can hit this budget and do all this stuff, go for it. And I'm like, I want this paint color. Right? Because I didn't want my paint color to change, because like Ford talks about and stuff like that, like everything was painted the same.
Yep.
But like I didn't really care what exact backsplash they used back then, because I wanted them to hit my number. And if they had something they could buy reasonable that looked good, fine.
Totally.
Right? Same with other things.
Yeah, I love that.
But I mean, that takes a certain level of trust and a certain level of I don't give a shit if it's not my ideal, right? If it's not my Instagram, I don't care, as long as it looks good and it hits my rental and it hits my budget level, right?
100%.
If you care, you better pick it out, go to Home Depot, decide.
Yep.
But if you're trying to do that while you're shopping contractors, it's a little too late, right?
Yep.
You almost got to do it ahead of time a little
100%.
bit.
Yeah. Well, and the cheap investor-friendly contractors have no systems, so you have to create your own. Like I've done so many jobs with these guys now. We do a video walkthrough. I have a spreadsheet that I use, and I'll take the last job that we did. I'll copy it. I'll make a copy, and because I get more and more accurate with the estimates with every job we do.
For sure.
And so I have a Google sheet. It's shared with him. We have a payments Google sheet. Otherwise, can I have $800? Everything's
Dude,
documented.
you're a general contractor.
Yeah, maybe I should just do it. No. And then we have a meeting at the end where he brings all the receipts. We go through every receipt, look it over, and then they get the check for everything. But man, it took many
iterations,
projects to get to the point where I'm dialed in. The point being, you can't expect the investor-friendly contractor to show up with a clipboard. Here, sign off on this. You got to create your own thing.
Yeah, no, they're actually showing up just to do work. And that's why I was saying is like sometimes you have to have them redo stuff, because they can be fast. But they're just grabbing, like, you can't systematize what Home Depot is going to have 99-cent vinyl blank flooring, because that's just whatever they're trying to clear out. So if you want systems, you got to choose the stuff that's at least $179 or to $2 a square foot. Right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And et cetera, right? Yeah. So they're coming in going, I can get you 99 cents, but I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
Because I haven't went there yet to see what they're clearing out today.
Do either of you ever do, like, or maybe this is all you do time and material contracts?
A lot of it, yeah.
Okay.
Matter of fact, working with them, well, it's not really time and material. It's more like pay by the job and material, right?
Okay.
Slightly different, because they're not like saying, well, I'm giving you $50 an hour and it's going to be X amount of hours. They're just saying, we'll do the labor for $20,000, for example.
Gotcha.
And then you pay for all the materials.
Gotcha.
And they'll be more detailed than that, but in the end result, that's what it probably is.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you're getting most of your bids.
Yeah, I get
here's the labor. You pay for all the materials.
Labor's a lump sum. I'll figure out all the materials for the most part. I mean, I'm not going to figure out the drywall and the nails and stuff like that. But any cosmetic finish, I like design. I think design is super fun, and I have it down now where I do all my ordering. I could pretty much order everything for a house in 50 minutes, maybe.
That's impressive.
Well, he's doing pretty. He's not.
I'm doing some basics.
He's also not like you ordering. Okay, we need X amount of studs. They figure all that out.
Yeah, that's why it's
Gotcha.
I'm ordering the tile, all fixtures.
And the fun stuff,
and all the cosmetic.
If you can see it, with the exception of the drywall and stuff, right?
Sure,
and probably not even ordering the paint. You're just
doing trim
color, right?
I do not order the trim
trim doors.
I do not order the doors. No.
Okay. No, think more like the vanities.
Yeah.
All
Tile,
all
flooring,
fixtures, all tile,
lights,
flooring, lights.
Probably doorknobs. I got some doorknobs off of. I really like Amazon black doorknobs. They have some really good ones that I saw at your Hague place. And I've got those on several different ones. Yeah, because stop putting those really cheap doorknobs in places, folks. First of all, you can spend less on Amazon, and it's so much nicer. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And if you have to, just spend a little more, because those cheap. Nothing says this place sucks ass like a cheap doorknob.
You know what? Yeah.
And a cheap lock, for that matter. The key that you can bend when you put it in, and you can bend it by going like this, and you don't need bodybuilder strength. Those knobs, those things suck, and just get a better lock.
Right.
Get at least a Dexter, if not a Schlage.
What drives me crazy, and I almost have one now on my door, which is not cheap, but it's a little. Everything square became really trendy for a bit, and then people never put them on right. Mm-hmm. So you go to like the classic like cheap flipped house. It's got the doorknob that's square, and then it's off by like 3 degrees. And you know what I'm saying? God, that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
The circular doorknob is much more friendly to a quick installation process.
Yeah. And I mean, that's stuff that you pick up on the more you do it too, right? It's like first flip, like, oh, these square knobs are awesome. Like, these are going to look great. And then sure enough, a year later, it's like, oh, that really bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that Hague house, that first deal I did, I mean, I really just got like a dollar for dollar return on equity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Bought for $280, put $90 into it. Great. Now it's worth $370.
Right.
Yeah.
I did it.
Well, you did it and you learned a lot, right?
So much.
Yeah.
So much.
And it's a beautiful place. Now, I think we kind of got that. I think people have an understanding of come in with some preparation. Yep. Don't expect the contractor to do all the work. If a contractor is going to be doing the design, you are going to be paying through the nose. You're probably not going to be able to afford them on a rental.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, 100%.
You know?
Yeah, unless you're doing some like high-end development flip or something where you got a piece of land and you want to do a build out, or, you know, something where there's massive opportunity for, I don't know. I know people are buying like teardowns in Lake Minnetonka and trying to build a $5 million house. Stuff like that. Sure. Great general contractor or something might work, but I think in most case scenarios, probably not.
And if you're in a Minneapolis or St. Paul or even most suburb, B-ish property or less, the stuff you get from Home Depot or Menards, especially Home Depot, I think it's a little higher grade, or even Lowe's, is going to be good enough. Yeah. Just pick it and move on.
Yep.
Because this dwelling on whether the exact vanity you use is probably not going to matter to your tenants.
Sure.
If you're flipping, I think it's a little different. But if it's truly a rental, I don't think you need to just throw caution in the wind, but you need to pick it and move on.
Yep.
Right? Because your
100%.
contractor needs you to pick it and move on.
Right. 100%.
Any other tips? I want to get back to Tyler's story because it's pretty cool. But,
I agree.
But this is a great... anything else that investors who are listening should anything else come to mind?
Oh yeah, like working with a contractor tips.
Yeah. I mean, I guess since I don't, I know how I function within my own contracting business, and a lot of like what it sounds like investors do is basically you kind of got to function as a general contractor a little bit. Are you guys bringing in electricians, plumbers? Or are you just hiring,
I've switched to using electricians and plumbers for most of that stuff, as painful as it is. But it depends on what it is. Sure. I mean, if it's like real light duty, like installing a vanity, no. Yeah. But if I'm redoing plumbing or redoing electrical, yeah, I'm bringing someone.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I think that's a tricky one too. Like if you're trying to find like electric, HVAC, plumbing, the billboard guys, right? Like that's who, you're saying, oh, I need an electrician. Like I know this company. They charge so much more than like some owner operator electricians that do fantastic work. Mm-hmm. Try to find owner operator electricians, plumbers, right? Like if you get, some of the big companies out here, to do your work, it's going to be, you're maybe paying triple to quadruple the price.
It's become almost like predatory, like I almost have to, at the closing table with clients, tell people like, you are not allowed to spend more than $1,000 without calling me. for the first year.
Yeah.
Because I'll get these calls from home buyers, and we had to spend $7,800 on the HVAC, and then I'll send them my guy Kurt, who works out of an '87 Ford, licensed, insured, all that, and he'll tell me, "Oh my God, they got bent over. They could have just replaced the Jim Bob, but they got sold a whole new apparatus, and they paid triple for the apparatus."
Here's why this is going to sound conspiracy theory, but it is absolutely not. That's because the overwhelming majority of the HVAC companies that you've ever heard of are owned by private equity, and a lot of them are owned by the same private equity, but they kept the brands, and they did that on purpose so that you would call one and then you'd price compare, and it would be similar-ish. Then it would prop all the prices up. They have computer systems that talk to each other. They know who you are, and this is not a conspiracy.
No, it's true.
Actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, and those companies are spending $500,000 a month in marketing. I mean, they're paying for that, right? Yep. And that's getting transferred back to you as the homeowner. It's not to say that there's not a need for that for quick emergency fixes and 24/7 service that maybe Kurt isn't able to do.
100%.
But for real estate investors, you definitely want to find a Kurt,
But they did buy enough of them that they don't market them all, right? So it's like, just basically, if they have nice trucks and they have systems, there is a chance that they're owned by private equity.
Totally.
At this point.
Yeah.
And it's starting to happen in bigger plumbing and sewer systems as well.
Yeah.
So just got to be careful.
And it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Like that's the differences we're talking about.
Right.
Yep. Cool. I think that's good tips.
Okay, so when was the aha moment? I think that's where we left off, when you're like, man, maybe I should specialize in building decks. And how did that happen?
So after I said we're never going to build another deck, the next summer, we probably got like 5 people calling for decks. And I was like, it's not like we're that busy right now. We could probably take some more work, and we did a couple more. And I was like, man, we can create like really clean, operable systems around this that are really hard to do in remodeling.
Because you're outside the house, so immediately
you're not opening up any walls.
Right.
You can see
your issues up front, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all in the open.
And I mean, we offer 3 different types of railing, and then TimberTech decking, which has 7 different lines that they get to choose colors from. But I mean, we're not dealing with so many moving parts and variables on a deck. And that aha moment came, and I was just like, man, we can really create systems and processes around this business. And I was at a point in my business where I was like, since we were doing everything, like I was very, very, very eager to get into something that I could create systems around, right? When you're doing bathrooms, you're doing kitchens, when you're doing basements, when you're doing everything, it doesn't work.
No 2 walls being opened up like the same inside, right? They're supposed to, but they just don't after 90
and it
years.
works if you're a carpenter. It works if you're a carpenter, but I didn't desire to be a carpenter. I wanted to be in business. Like I love business. And I realized, I was like, this is not scalable from a business perspective. We need to find something that we can create those systems and processes around. So decks, check those boxes.
So you get 5 deck orders 1 year, and you started to like them a little more?
Yeah, exactly. And we got our pricing figured out. I mean, I think that was the first thing at first.
Were you pricing too low before?
Oh, yeah. Way too low. Yeah, way too low.
Some people got hooked up.
Yeah, they got a sweet, sweet deal. Yeah.
They got slow. They got good.
Slow.
They got slow. They got good, and they got cheap.
Yeah.
Right? So
exactly.
They got 2 of the 3.
Yeah, they didn't get fast. They did not get fast, but they got good and cheap. So now obviously from a business perspective, we've switched to fast and good. That's as a general contractor, if anyone's listening like that, if you're trying to go for scale and creating a scalable business where you can bring on a team and that kind of stuff, you kind of have to be there. It's really tough to operate from the slow and cheap.
So the trajectory of your business has been pretty incredible. You said you've doubled each year. Mm-hmm. You think you're going to do how many this year? How many decks?
About 200.
Okay. 100 last year, 50 the year before.
Yep. And so it was 27, 54, 102, and this year we're hoping for about 200. Planning for about 200.
Tell us about, marketing, man. And tell us about marketing and sales.
Yeah. It's shocking every year how much money we have to put into marketing to grow at this rate, but it's like, it's necessary. We started marketing so we got to like 54 decks pretty easily without marketing. Like we were putting up some bandit signs and, getting referrals and that kind of stuff. To get to 100 decks, we had to invest quite a bit of money into marketing. And now this year, we've quadrupled that number. And we've had to create sales processes around that. So like I had to refine our entire pricing model to where I can hire someone that, is good at sales and can come in and quote a deck that might not have deck experience. Like when you're doing that much volume, I can't sell 200 decks. I can't go on that many quotes. We need to bring in salespeople. So, we spent a ton of time this past off season creating those pricing structures, sales software, AI behind it that'll help us to do this at a higher level and continue to grow. But in terms of marketing, we love mailers. Last year, we were really just mostly doing mailers. This year, we probably tripled our spend on mailers, and we also are hitting meta ads really hard. So we hired a videographer that's based here in the Twin Cities to do a meta ad campaign. He made about 10 videos for us of a conglomeration of a bunch of different clips, made about 10 videos in kind of like a short form video. And then he manages the entire meta thing for us.
Does he measure like incoming leads and stuff like that? Really?
Yeah, he does it all. And
interesting. Does he have a team behind him, this person?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that gets, I wouldn't say it's been huge, but we're spending $30 a day on meta, and we've probably had 40, 50 leads in the past month and a half.
Okay.
So, it's not like we're spending a ton on it yet. We're still trying to gather data and like figure out like which levers to pull and how to tweak this. But it's been a good system.
Tell us about the mailers, because real estate investors use mailers all the time. So this is a learning opportunity. Do they get like a glossy kind of postcard?
Yep.
And are you hitting the same address a couple times?
Oh yeah, multiple touch points. Yeah.
Got it. Tell us about that.
So we go through a system called, the U.S. Postal Service has EDDM, which is every door direct mail. And you can actually go through and target specific mailing routes in zip codes. So that's how they have it all organized. They have it organized by the zip code and then the mailing routes within that zip code. So if you have an area that you're interested in buying, or for us, selling decks in, we can click and pick on those mailing routes. I have a company that I work with that designs and prints these mailers and then brings them bundled to the post office and handles the whole process, ships them out. And
because it's way more efficient for the mailman on my route. He might have like, today he's got 3 different companies and he's got a big old stack and everybody gets one of these.
Everybody gets one.
Yep.
So it's not like hyper targeted, but it's pretty good.
So are you doing do you do a lot of new developments where they didn't put decks on, that kind of stuff? Right?
Funny enough,
I drive down the highway and I see the back of the houses where they got the wood board up and the double door, whatever, the sliding door, but no deck. You drive by those and you go, okay, there's a neighborhood I need to hit.
I don't want to give away too much game. I guess, okay.
Well,
no, okay.
Well, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say about that. I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But anyone who's doing high volume deck that's gonna do this probably isn't gonna hit the same house as you anyway.
It's so new developments are good, but we've often found that obviously, when people are buying a new development, they have to finish the basement, they have to put a deck on, and maybe it's their a first home buyer where they don't have a ton of cash.
They don't have the money to pay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they can't finance it usually, right? I mean, it's hard to.
So that's what I was going to say. We have a targeted mailer that goes to new developments that has our financing offer on there.
Yeah.
We have a 0% for 24-month financing offer, no money down. And we use that specifically. That our bread and butter is we love to find 90s neighborhoods, early 2000s neighborhood where they have a wood deck that's 30 years old. And I know it's rotting. Yeah. I know the decking's rotting. I know the railing's falling apart. And they that's need how long they last. Yeah. Right. And a lot of times those homeowners have equity in the home, right? They've been there for, a number of years. So getting those deals done is a little bit easier, getting it to the finish line.
Yeah, that's cool.
You guys are awesome on social media. You do a really, really good job.
I can't take any credit for that. Yeah, Lauren. My wife Lauren, she's a killer. She does a really, really good job and is super invested in the marketing.
And I think our businesses are similar in this. We got coffee a few weeks ago, and I think you told me that. Tell me if I'm wrong. You're not necessarily. Well, I'll just speak for myself. I don't get a lot of leads from social media. No. I can maybe count on one hand the amount of people who reached out on Instagram. Hey, I found you on Instagram. It's probably happened to me 5 times. Yeah. But it's everything together that I do. This podcast, social media, posting on Facebook, whatever. It just reinforces that if somebody is recommended to me, it's like, oh yeah, I've seen you on whatever.
Yeah. It's a support tool.
And it's a reminder to your past clients without you having to annoy them in some sort of like really intrusive way. Yeah. Unintrusively, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Adam's still my realtor.
Yeah.
5 years later.
100%. You know what I mean? Yeah. And for us, it's like, we don't expect based on what we're posting on social media to sell us jobs or to get us new clients or leads. We expect it to be a reinforcing tool when someone is getting close to making the decision to build a deck that, hey, they look us up on social media. Oh, wow, these people have a huge following. They post every single day. Like, this isn't,
You can see the quality of work, et cetera.
Yeah, they get to see the gallery. And then it's also like they're committed to this. I want to work with someone who I can trust, right? Versus just finding some random company that like maybe doesn't do that. I think it makes it an easier decision.
I think what Lauren really does a good job at, your wife in social media, is like, I might spend $100,000 on a swimming pool if you can make me think about how much my kids are gonna have their friends over. No one's gonna want to leave dad's house, right?
Yeah.
That is, and I think what Lauren does is like, it's like
makes it real.
It's the family hanging out on the deck. You're not like, ooh, look at this, the wood or whatever.
Yeah.
She does a really good job at that.
That's what investors in Airbnb are good at that. But investors in rental real estate are not. I wonder if that part of it is actually because we don't have the tools because of our photographers generally. Mm-hmm. I mean, like the person and the time it takes to set up the shots and everything.
Yeah,
that money isn't invested. Yeah. But I wonder if it'll ever shift.
Yeah, are you saying that like if I'm gonna have a duplex, I'm gonna list it and there'll be a picture of like a family around the kitchen table, like serving up spaghetti or whatever?
Well, exactly, or just shots that are slightly more staged, like your backyard pictures. I'm not picking on Adam, but like everyone's backyard pictures are shit, right? Yeah. I mean, you're lucky if there's even a patio in the picture from a distance with bad lighting and shadows. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just, we don't give that feel. We don't give the, oh my gosh, this was the nice morning. We actually took the picture at sunrise so that the lighting looked perfect or whatever, right?
It's a great point. A lot of our pictures that Adam is probably referring to is, we built, for my parents' Airbnb down in Mankato that we kind of talked about, we built 2 decks on that property. And they brought in a professional photographer, John TCREI in Minnesota. He does a lot of the high-end, Airbnb properties, but they did that. We've used it a ton on our social media, but like we were in the shots, we were living on the decks, like we were doing everything. And I mean, it's been, I think their social media for them as an Airbnb has actually like sold them a ton of people like coming to the property.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no expert in the subject, but I've seen enough of it to know like the people who take the pictures where the fruit basket is there on the counter and it's kind of like almost blurry and you see through to someone smiling in the background or whatever, like that kind of stuff, right? And the sun is just perfect and all those things. Those kind of emotion driving shots
totally
are
and if
really
people
good.
Are in it, performs way better.
Yeah.
People want to see people.
I just kind of wonder if that's a trend that will eventually happen. And again, with AI, maybe it does because we all have more time and, blah, 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 right? Because now, I mean, of course, we do virtual staging, which is a game changer compared to anyone who's not, which is, but I wonder if there's more to it than that.
Sure.
And I don't think virtual people in it, I don't think, but maybe that might be the easy way you do it because you just can't do it any other way.
Yeah.
So,
what other businesses do you like right now? Somebody's, young guys or gal is listening and they want to get into a trade. What do you like from like an operations perspective, growth perspective, management, what do you?
So it depends on what your goal is, right? You got to have your goal you don't have to have your goal at the beginning because I don't think we did. We figured out our goal as we kind of went along, and that's just because I wasn't planning on going into business. I was planning on getting a job and COVID hit, but figuring out the goal and what we want to do in terms of, hey, am I looking for a high paying career? Am I looking for a scalable company that I can exit? Am I looking for, what am I looking to do here?
Great work-life balance.
Great work-life balance.
Hours.
Right. That all plays into what could be a good business. For me, I'm looking to scale and exit. I want to acquire more companies and roll them up kind of within a similar, within the same industry. But other trades that I really like, I think can be really, really good are, fences, garage doors, you could specialize in a specific type of hardscapes or concrete. Concrete is hard work, but there is so much concrete demand and there is so little companies that are good at doing it. If you're a good company in concrete, I'll call them up and they are 5-6 months out. It's insane in April. So that's one that's if you're younger and looking to get into a trade that's a business that you can run, there's hard things with every business, but concrete, there's just a massive opportunity. Things like that. I like things that are, easy to create systems around, kind of like we've talked about.
And so as we go more into what your goals are and what you think your exit will be, you mentioned acquiring companies. I'd like to talk for a moment about Minneapolis waterproofing. Are you cool talking about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
So you were thinking you were going to invest in real estate for a little while. We looked at multifamily together a handful of times. We kind of go through spurts. And then you decided, you know what, Adam, I think probably my dollars are best spent buying another business, which made probably total sense at the time. So tell us about what it was like to buy an existing business and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were looking on, biz buy sell for months and months and months. I wanted to find something that was, obviously, within our budget and price range, but also I was really looking for a company that had been around for a long time, had employees and had consistent lead flow, but maybe was missing, the systems, the tech integration, maybe someone that was retiring out of a business that was an owner operator for 30, 40 years that maybe wasn't optimized or technologically sound. Mm-hmm. And we found that with Minneapolis Waterproofing, took out an SBA loan, bought the business, and we owned that for 3 years. And I mean, it was great for us. While we were growing Northern Craft Building, we basically walked into that company, it cash flowed, it paid for our life for 3 years while we could completely reinvest everything from our main company back into it. And,
when you bought your home in Bloomington, that was what qualified you, right? And so you were able to take a loss. I don't know if that was a tax strategy or if you feel like sharing that, but you were scaling Northern Craft and you were okay with just kind of breaking even, essentially.
Yeah. So we were, Northern Craft up until this year was completely bootstrapped. We were reinvesting heavily into it. Money that was coming in was just getting poured right back into marketing and into infrastructure and vehicles and equipment and trailers and everything that is kind of necessary for a business like that to run.
Yeah, you pulled up in what, a 12-year-old truck?
Yeah.
And you're about to build 200 decks?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's
You're
a
putting the
12-year-old
money- you're
truck
smart-
with rust on the fenders, but I have about 7 of them. So,
That's cool.
it takes infrastructure to run a service business like this.
It does, and I don't think people realize it, right? Like,
it's
when you're paying
expensive.
for the deck, you're also paying for all of that as well, because the person can't do it without the truck.
We have offices, warehouse space, storage space, showroom space, vehicles, hiring new employees, multiple 6 figures going into marketing, insurance. Like, I mean, it's not
Family Leave Act.
yeah. And when you're getting this thing off the ground, like you're gonna put money into it. And obviously starting out, like no bank's just going to give you a loan for growing your business. I mean, sure, maybe you could get creative and figure it out, but I think it's pretty tough if you're like 22-year-old kid, not really sure what exactly you're doing yet. Like, oh, I can do construction. Like, good luck with that one. I mean, maybe you can, I don't know, but we didn't until recently. So yeah, we bought waterproofing, and it paid for our life completely, and it ran itself. I mean, we did have to put an operator. We had to hire an operator to run the business. But
How'd you find the operator?
Luckily, it was my brother. So he was running a landscaping business before this, and he was kind of doing his own thing, but younger guy, hungry, and wanted to learn business. And I was like, look, like, you have the skills to do this. You can sell, you can do the project management, all that, and I'll help you with, grow and if you have questions about stuff, I'm obviously here to help. He took it over and did a phenomenal job, to the point where I was working on that business less than an hour a week. But I think, like, you need to buy a business that has if you're going to buy a business, you need to buy a business that has the cash flow available to pay an operator if it doesn't already have one, right? Mm-hmm. And still get what you're going to get out of it.
Right.
And
probably buy a business that is as specialized as possible.
Totally. And this business was in business for 40 years. I mean, it had a reputation, and we were getting, the leads were coming in. So all we really had to do was optimize it, right?
And wait for rain.
Yeah, exactly.
There's got to be someone listening right now. Obviously, if you need a deck, get a hold of Northern Craft. But if you have a water issue in your basement, I can vouch for his brother. And we were talking about this before the pod. He saved my ass on a deal yesterday. Just one of the most benevolent guys with his time, and he's helped me a lot throughout the years. Because everyone knows great. Someone who's dealing with a basement water problem.
Yeah, Tanner's great. It's, we do exterior waterproofing systems in Minneapolis Waterproofing, and reach out to Tanner.
Cool. In the show notes.
So just so we're clear, because I think people could use these services, exterior waterproofing systems to me means you might do some sort of French drain. You might potentially do gutters, draining, grading.
Yeah, so we actually excavate around the interior. We put a waterproofing membrane on. We seal and patch any cracks in the foundation with mortar, then put the membrane on.
So they dig down.
We dig down, to below the frost line.
Below the frost line.
Because the frost line is where you get fractures in your basement. Okay. Like, that's where in Minnesota, 48 inches on a really cold year, the ground is going to move, you're going to get heaving, and that causes foundation cracks.
Okay. So the frost line in Minnesota is 48 inches?
Depending on where you're at.
Okay. Just curious. I mean, because I didn't know that, and I bet a lot of people don't. So.
Yep. Twin Cities, 48 inches, up north, up to 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's talk a little bit. We've been going an hour, and I'm sure you have things to do, but I'd like to talk more about scaling and your exit, if you don't mind sharing, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Totally.
What does that look like, man?
Yeah. So right now it's where I'd say we're at in the process is we're rapidly growing the Twin Cities market, and we want to prove that the model that we're building works without me being involved in the daily operations. As soon as we get to that point, which I'd say should happen within the next 6 to 10 months, we're looking to buy, a deck company not just a debt company, we'll have, obviously criteria that we're looking for, but in Madison, in Des Moines, in Omaha, markets that are similar, like Midwest markets that are similar to here, institute our systems, institute our processes, and roll them up, and exit.
I love it. Probably get bought out by PE, right?
Unfortunately, I'm not a huge
right?
fan of PE, but that's who's buying these companies. And
it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're the ones that are buying these companies. So, yeah.
And would you exit these one at a time?
No, that would be a whole portfolio.
It'll be a whole
makes
portfolio.
It worth it.
Yep. Yeah, you have to. So the way that businesses are valued is on a multiple of your EBITDA, essentially, and basically, there's an opportunity between. I don't know if you guys want to talk about
no,
this.
please.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. And can we get help with that acronym, please?
Yeah. So earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, assets.
Got it. Which is the truest calculation of real income.
Yes.
Right. After my income after the depreciation is like thankfully low.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So there's this opportunity in business where private equity, and maybe the numbers have changed since I last looked at this, but 3 years ago when I really got this idea in my head, private equity was not interested in any business that does under $5 million a year in revenue. Right now it might be 10. So there's this opportunity in the market where you have businesses that are anywhere from, let's just say, $1 million to $10 million in revenue and making anywhere between $100,000 to, let's just say, $2 million in profit, that are valued on a 1 to 3 times multiple on their earnings, right?
Yep.
Now, what happens is when it gets over that 10 million or 5 million revenue point and private equity starts getting interested, the multiple on earnings goes up.
Like maybe 10, right?
Like 10, 15. I mean, some are 25,
Yep.
right? So you're talking about buying companies at 5 million, right? Which let's say it's 3 million. Okay. That's an easy number. Let's say the business does 3 million in revenue. We'll just say 500,000 in profit. Okay. That business is probably going to be valued at $1.5 million, 3 times on earnings. Could be less, could be more, but let's just say 1.5. That's a pretty accurate number for today's market. Now let's say you buy 10 of those. Okay. Now you're looking at 5 million in profit and 30 million in revenue, right? That business might be a 10 times multiple. So the arbitrage between what you bought for to what you can sell for simply by conglomerating those companies is 7 times.
And potentially with your systems, you've actually even made that greater, right?
Exactly.
So you're getting a multiple on that as well.
So there's
just the aggregation.
Equity. Yeah. I mean, you can add equity value to the company too by instituting those systems.
Yeah. Well, man, I love your plan, and I think it's been interesting, and I think that there's a lot of people doing what you're doing now in different businesses, right?
Totally.
Buying business, stuff like that. So it's definitely something I've seen going around the real estate circles. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, the cash flow in a business is a lot better than real estate, right?
Yeah.
It's more headache, but
totally.
more cash flow.
Oh, it's different. It's not safe. It's not safe. It requires a ton of work, a lot of skill. It's just a different thing altogether.
It is different,
right?
Yep.
Well, cool. Very, very cool, Tyler. Thank you. You're a busy guy, and you've been generous with your time today. And we'll plug all your stuff in the show notes. Support Tyler's businesses, you guys. He's the best.
Awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me on. It was great talking with you both, and it was a great time. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, man. So what's cracking today, man?
InvestFest.
Sign up for InvestFest, you guys.
Yep, go on the website and sign up for it. So we have a great energy. The whole idea of this is bringing people together from all kinds of different groups around the Twin Cities and collaborating and having an awesome event.
I look forward to seeing people that I haven't seen in 5 years,
Yeah.
Like I'm I'm sure there'll be all sorts of like clients of mine, old vendors, whatever you might think of.
For sure.
Looking forward to running into old friends.
For sure.
Are you doing anything in your investing world right now, Tim? Or what's?
I got a property on the market where North Minneapolis Flips on the market. It's had like 5 showings or so.
Okay.
Feedback's been good.
How many days on market?
A dozen, maybe.
Okay.
Something like that.
What?
What's that?
Well, you know what? Hey guys,
we don't need to show it or anything. We can, I guess. If someone wants to look, they can go on Zillow and find 3951 Thomas. They'll see all the pictures.
39. Well, and here's
the pictures are great. Actually, and like I said, the feedback's been pretty good. It was one of those, hey, we're not sure it's in the running, and we had another one that said, nothing really bad about the property at all. Just like kind of like, if anything, we got like, hey, good property, not for us, kind of thing.
Are you doing? And you know what? We'll dig into this next week. I'm getting a new computer that can actually handle what it takes to. That's why you didn't see any visuals on this episode, YouTube listeners. So we'll go into this next week when I have my new MacBook. But I'm just curious: is this real staging or virtual?
Real.
What do you pay? What do you pay for staging, Tim? And what company
I'm
do you
going
like?
off of memory. I like With Buyer's Eyes. Christy Casper is her name, both with a K.
Okay.
Christy with a K, Casper with a K, and I do like her a lot. I think she might be kind of on the expensive side, but I'm not sure. I think I paid $2,800, something like that, for 2 months, and then it's like $800 a month after 2 months.
So Liz Lovelace finds you the deal, and then you kick her the listing. Is that part of your agreement, or you're just a nice guy?
I would never cut a realtor. I would never cut a realtor out who brings me a deal. I think it's,
Okay.
I think it's,
it's a nice thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, if they actually go through the point, I guess it's a selling point for them is like, hey, find me a deal and you'll get the listing. I think that's
Sure. Unless you're in like a niche market, like if you're flipping a house in Mendota Heights or something, some of those markets are so locked down by certain agents where like, in Mendota Heights, for example, most of the transactions are still off market over there because a couple of agents have a stranglehold.
I suppose, good point. There might be a situation. I've just never run across a situation where I would do that, and I guess it would have to be something where I'd just like all signs pointed to you wouldn't be the right person for this, so or something like that, right? But
I have a business idea. I want to start a branch of my business. Have I told you this before? That does like intentional, structured matchmaking when it comes to for referrals, essentially in the local, in Minnesota, right?
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. I think it's something that Katie could run from a marketing and lead generation perspective.
Oh, sure.
Because I think that, I guess I disagree a little bit. I mean, here's the thing. Give Liz the listing. This is a pretty low stakes situation. And plus, who better to have this listing than Liz?
She knows the area.
She knows the area.
She lives near there.
But let's say that I found you this deal.
Yeah.
Should I be the listing agent over here? I think I'd do a fine job for you.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice of you too. And again, this is a $350,000 house. But my point is, I think most flippers, regardless of what you're trying to do in real estate, I think most people are not working with the best person for them. Would you agree with that?
I hear you. Yes, I hear you there.
Because everyone knows a couple agents. So most people are going to work with the person who is their cousin or their friend's realtor.
Yeah.
And really, whatever you're trying to achieve, as basic as it might sound, is specified. It is specific, and you want someone who has a track record of helping people accomplish exactly what you want to accomplish.
I totally see what you're saying. Like, for example, there are even investor realtors. Like, the typical house hack realtor is not necessarily the best flip realtor, to be perfectly blunt, right?
100%.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And so on that level, heck, the best flip realtor is probably someone who's a flipper that also happens to be a realtor. But that would be probably maybe not worth their time, but that would be who would know everything, right? The second best is someone, I guess, that helps a lot of flippers, maybe. But I don't know that they know the business.
No, man, I think it's
probably the flipper.
it's neighborhood.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with whether I think you could know nothing about flipping a house. You've never flipped a house. I think who has the buyers in this area? Who is marketing in the area? Who's the name in the area?
Well, and also knows the numbers cold, right? Yeah. And
who's going to be a killer for pricing? Yeah. And you know what, Liz? Because I can look at all the data in the world, but Liz has been inside all of these. Oh, well, look at this comp at 400. Well, here's the thing you have to understand about that, Tim. The basement ceiling clearance was super high. This, that, and the other thing. It was very high-end, heated garage. And yeah, and so my point is, I think I could sit down with an investor, a flipper. You're flipping a house in Mound. You're trying to be in the 800s. AI is not going to get it right. Google's not going to get it right. You'll end up with the person with the best SEO. I have all of the data, and
and like you said, you've been in the houses. You know what people say about them, right? Like the comments, all that.
Right. Well, no, what I'm saying is, if you're flipping the place in Mound, you want to probably work with the Mound person as a flipper.
Yeah, I got you. Well, it just so happens Liz is the North Minneapolis in this particular neighborhood. She knows very, very well. So.
Yeah.
But you'll be interested to know we came up with within $1,000 of the exact price. And prior to meeting you, we might have been identical. She said $349. I went with $350 because you'd told me, I always used to say that.
Yeah, $350 is better than $349 for sure.
Yeah. And why is that? Can you tell people again?
Because of, it's called bracketed pricing. And so if I meet with a buyer, I'm going to put them on a MLS drip campaign, and there are going to be some agents who put a minimum price down, and that minimum almost always happens to be on $25,000 increments. And there are lots of agents who think, my client's not going to like anything under $350 is no good, right?
Sure.
I think one of the worst list prices you can list for is $299.
Because 300 is a mad. Yeah,
300 is a very common minimum that agents are putting their clients on. Now, if you're an agent listening to this, don't make 300 the minimum. Make it 295. The agents need to understand that people like to price on the nines, but we're not selling, freaking macaroni and cheese at Target here. So statistically, you want to do bracketed pricing because you'll capture a larger set of eyeballs. The exception is I just helped a woman sell a property, and her equity was super tight to the point where we were just trying to get her to honestly walk away with $1,000 and not have it be a short sale. And so we listed this one at 410 because she needed that 10 grand, and we just can't list at 10 hoping we go into multiples to get 410.
Yeah.
So
you would have preferred. So when you say bracketed pricing, you mean price on the 25? Is that
price on the 25?
Yeah.
Some other really dumb. Yeah, the dumbest list prices are $299 and then $405. That's the dumbest thing ever, because lots of buyers we talked about the minimum at 300.
But
a lot of people don't want to go over 4.
Yeah.
So 405 is just the dumbest price you can list for, unless again.
But they'll live with paying 405 after they fall in love with it. But their search is set up at 400, right?
Right.
Yeah. Got it.
So that's what you have going on. I am finishing up the East Side Burr. So we will we should do another meetup over there. Now that's almost already done. When is InvestFest, Tim?
May 12th.
May 12th. Oh, it's coming up. So we will do a meetup. A lot of you guys came to our little pop-up meetup, the Burr walkthrough, a month and a half ago. Yeah. Remember that?
We'll just do another pop-up. I mean, I think we should,
Yeah, we'll do another pop-up, probably not next week, but probably after InvestFest while I'm searching for a tenant. So you guys, if you want to see the after, make sure you guys always go to TwinCitiesRealEstateInvesting.com. I keep telling you, you got to go there and you got to sign up to be on our meetup. We had a meetup last night in Eagan, talking to some prospective people that want to are interested in the real estate career, selling real estate. And we have a guy who's going to be joining Joe Schwartzbauer's team at Grey Duck Properties under Real, but he'll probably be a part of the Agent Investor Collective that we've been starting. And anyways, it was a small group, but it was fun. So thanks for those of you guys that showed up for that. But yeah, I think with this East Side place, it's going to be another cash flow neutral deal where I've made a good equity chunk, but after the refi part of the burr, I'm just not quite cash flowing. And it's making me think maybe I go back I've done 3 of these in a row. Maybe what I do next has more of like an income potential. Like I think about what our mutual client Bruce bought.
Yeah.
That 4-plex.
Yep.
I kind of want one of those now, you know?
I've seen a couple lately. I've had some people buying like off market, like Anton, you know, he's looking, you know, and he's a wholesaler. For those who don't know, Anton is a wholesaler in the Twin Cities. And so he's looking at stuff like that. And he's found some stuff that cash flow is pretty good, like more than your average, you know? So I think it's one of those things where if you're willing to put in the work, and you're willing, he's also, by the way, not living in glamorous neighborhoods. You know, he's not looking in the neighborhoods where most of our house hackers look. So depending on your goals, you have to decide what's more important. But, the deals are out there. Like I look at our, this is actually a good segue into our multifamily investing data analysis. We've been working on this behind the scenes, and I can tell you that like there are a ton of deals out there that meet the 1% rule. That's almost like a given nowadays.
It's the standard.
It's almost a given, yeah.
Unless you're going real class A, high end.
Yeah. So
for multifamily.
So so for those of you who think that it just doesn't, now with current rates and insurance and all that, those are still not impressive numbers, but they do exist, and we're looking at a snapshot in time. The other numbers will get better, meaning the rents will go up, the payments will go down, the insurance will probably also go up. So it's not going to be perfect, but there are deals out there to be had, and we're seeing them.
Well, I was thinking about what Ozzy was saying too, about how like he has these good earners that subsidize his not so good earners.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think I have any like real duds in my portfolio right now. I also don't have 100 units, so you're always going to have some duds with 100 units.
For sure.
But it would be nice gosh, this one property's kind of been killing me. It's a burr deal. So every month, all of the rent goes to pay principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And it had been kind of one thing after another, a lot of drain cleaning type of stuff.
Oh, sure.
Every
property has stuff when you first buy it that you don't know that you can't
But not
see.
every property, dude.
Well,
because I bought a lot. I mean, I've never had anything like this before.
Well, I don't know. You had problems at Hague like within the first year, right? I think within the first 2 years, almost every property has something. And it might be kind of minor, but like there are little like flaws that are not immediately available. Yeah. They're not all huge, but like you figure out what they are, you fix them, and then they don't happen again,
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Did I have a lot of problems at Hague?
Not a lot, but you had the tenants. I mean, a lot of properties, a lot of things I wouldn't say. I'm not talking about like money pit stuff. I'm just saying like you'll have something like, so for example, our 1105 18th and a half Avenue, when we first got it, the first 2 years, there were just various little things we fixed. We remodeled the whole place, but then there were still other things. Since then, I feel like I can go a full year and have zero, and
it's a great feeling.
My point is that like there's a little bit of feeling out of a property, a little bit of extra TLC it needs right away, but I don't think that's going to exist forever. Because if there's a real problem with your sewer, you're going to figure out, hey, there's a real problem. I'm either going to need to just do this every year and I know it, and it's no longer like a problem, it's just a maintenance item, or you're going to like have a solution where it's like, oh, I guess we're going to line the drain or whatever you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
But it'll get solved, or you're going to sell it. But you'll solve whatever that problem is, and then they'll become like an afterthought in your life.
Well, yeah, and where I'm going with this is it's making me think I want to keep doing these single family bird deals because I like it and I really have it down.
Yeah.
But maybe I pick up a Section 8 triplex or something, to subsidize. I mean,
yeah,
I could be to the point where, let's just say 4 years from now, I might have 15 mostly cash flow neutral single family homes. And that's kind of like...
And that's actually dangerous at that point, if you ask me.
You think that's too many?
To have 15 it is. Well, not without the offsetting cash flow, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it might be too many even with offsetting cash flow.
Because I've got equity. That's the thing. I've got at least 30% equity.
You have equity in a good
80-20.
market. So the guy can give you that. Why am I blanking on his name all of a sudden? He's like literally a mentor of mine, and I'm totally blanking. Cash Flow Academy is the name of his business. Rod Khleif.
Okay.
Sorry. So Rod Khleif, if you listen to his first couple episodes, he'll tell you all about it. He diagnoses his problem wrong, but he'll tell you, because he was the guy I talked about who had 70% equity in all of his properties. 30 million properties, owned $9 million, and they lost them all. It's possible to do. Equity isn't the only thing. In a down market, you won't be able to access it.
So he didn't have cash. Is that the point?
Didn't have cash.
I have cash.
Yeah. So that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
That is the point. That's the point I always tell people. You're not over leveraged. You're under capitalized. Unless, of course, you are so under leveraged that you owe zero. That's a totally different story. Or you have enough cash that you could pay it down to zero. There's a few things in there, right? In your case, if you own 15 and you don't have enough cash and the market tanks, and or like we have some civil unrest, or just like think of like a COVID type event, like an event that you have no control over that completely decimates that rental market. Those kind of things, you're at extreme risk for those if you don't have any leeway. So, but like 10 years from now, you'll have cash flow on those. It's really, the problem is having 15 all at once that don't cash flow. Right? You can probably, I don't know what the number is, like if everyone is different, but 15 to me just sounds like a big one. Like you could for sure manage it. If you keep enough cash, you can always have enough cash, right? It's just how much cash do you need for 15? And I don't know the answer to that.
Well, and also if I have 15 of them, assuming my loan to value is 70-30 on all these cash outs, how much wealth is, that's maybe a couple million in equity, or a million in equity, which could probably be in something that's making a good amount of money. But gosh, yeah, it's such an interesting back and forth. This is what we were talking about with Alex about. Remember at the end of Alex's conversation?
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about like, would you rather have, which leverage point is the sweet spot? I guess that's what we're saying.
We
right?
talked about that offline, though. I don't think
I know it was offline. Yeah.
I really wish we would have recorded that. That would have made a great episode in and of itself.
Yeah. It's kind of funny when we turned. Did you notice when we turned the camera off Tyler? He said one of the most like whatever would have been like the best clip ever when he moves the mic out of his way and
he just starts talking. Yeah.
So.
I actually like your game plan, and I'm not against it. I'm just saying like 15 to me sound, and I'm pretty risk tolerant. That sounds like a lot to have no cash flow. Fine if you have 30 and 15 of them no cash flow, I think that's fine as long as the other one's cash flow enough, right? I just think like being that heavy in non-cash flowing properties is dangerous. I mean, it's hurt me. I have a lot of non-cash flowing properties and I don't like it. That won't happen to me because I'm going to, after the first year of rent, you raise it. Okay, now I have $150 in cash flow. Right. And assuming that your taxes and insurance don't go up, which they might. Anyways, yeah, it's making me kind of rethink. Yeah. Your big risk comes in those big events though, right? Like think of the mortgage crash. I lived through the mortgage crash. That was pre your time. That's why Todd Dexheimer is a wealthy man today, is because of the mortgage crash. But the guy who owned the properties that he bought, they went bankrupt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Someone won, someone lost. Todd was the winner in that situation. You don't want to be on the losing side. So I don't know what the right answer is, but keep that cash. I know that'll go a long, long way.
Well, part of the reason why I feel okay about doing those BRRRR deals is that if I lost them all, I'd be fine.
Sure, because you don't have because you're at really close to like having your money out of them, right? I know a lot of them.
I have my
full.
Yeah,
some of them.
I've one of them. I've got no money in. One of them I have 40 in. This one I'm doing now, I'll probably end up with like 15, 20 in.
Yeah.
So if they all just vanished, I've still got kind of like a flagship rental property in the triplex, and then a big equity in another property and 2 others. So I think a lot of that fear left me when I realized, like, I'll be okay. I want to try to play with this system. And shit, if they all burn down tomorrow, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think I keep going for the most part. I don't think you're doing anything wrong per se, but like keep that cash and build them. And if you see an opportunity to get something that does cash flow pretty well, it is very helpful to have some of that in your portfolio too.
Yeah, Tim and I, our mutual client, won't say his name, but he just bought a really big triplex that's going to be all Section 8 tenants that'll probably pay around $2,000 a unit, most likely. And he's paying in the mid 4s for this place. So $8,000 a month in revenue, fully split utilities. Although it's not, I know it's not quite
$6,000 a month. You said triplex, right?
Oh, it's a 4plex.
Oh, okay.
It's a 4plex.
Okay. Sorry,
yeah.
I thought okay.
And yeah, I wouldn't mind scooping up one of those.
Yeah, man.
AI is really helpful for these types of like introspecting about, you know, business strategy and stuff. So I'll do some of that and maybe come up with what I want to do next. But anyways, InvestFest. Go to InvestFest.
Yep. And we've got we're working on it. So so as far as the multifamily analyzing project goes, the same thing we did last year, we're doing that again. We've been putting a lot more time into the infrastructure around it. So we'll have the same report we had last year, but this year we're going to have a searchable website that people can use to kind of like, I'm going to call it comp search for now. That website will the designer put a shit ton of work into it. There's going to be a fee associated with it, and there'll probably be a small fee to start so people can try it, and then a more commensurate one to the value it adds a few months in.
So what you mean is we're doing, you and Kevin, I'm assuming, have been doing a big data deep dive into Twin Cities multifamily. For those of you who don't know, we dropped a few episodes last year doing a complete breakdown of like appreciation, price to rent ratios, all sorts of things.
Yep.
And we got a lot of positive feedback from those episodes. So we're going to have some more coming up. And before, when it was just you and I, we just had like a spreadsheet that accompanied the episode.
A spreadsheet, and we had an episode where we kind of talked about like some of the high level stuff, right? We're going to do all that again. You're going to be able to download all that for free. But then we're also going to have a paid for service where you can go on, and as you're looking, you can compare, you can get to know a market with past sales, and you'll have every single past sale over the for 2025 that you'll be able to do like an AI search and say, you know, what's the best area to buy a 2-unit 5-bedroom duplex, you know, where's the best rent to price ratio, where's the most amount of sales. And they'll be like, he has a heat map kind of situation. We actually decided to change that to a dot map. So basically you'll be able to see where are people buying, and then you'll be able to scroll over just like you were on Zillow, and it'll show you stats about the property.
Can I make a suggestion?
It's effing sweet,
yeah,
but it's taking them an insane amount of time. So
can I make a quick, you know, it would be a sweet upgrade that I don't think it would be hard to train the program to do? Train it how to make adjustments like an appraiser or even a realtor doing a CMA.
Oh,
because that is simple stuff. You just value each bedroom and bathroom in each area, and then value the differences in above and below grade square footage, value the garage stalls, and then just keep it there. And then somebody can plug it in. Here are the comps, but here are the adjusted values for the comps. That
is a good idea.
And I could put together... Just have Kevin email me, because I could tell you exactly what those numbers are. Yeah.
And so the vision in this is like MVP, which is minimum viable product, right? And then we're going to expand from there. And so he's like, if I actually get paid, I can make this cooler, you know, but he's doing all this for free. So by the way, the pay will go, we kind of figured out like to start for the thing, what we'll probably do is 2/3 to the pod to pay off the equipment and 1/3 to him. So, cool. And we're talking about like day one it's probably gonna be $9 a month, but that's just so people can feel it. It's really gonna be more like, think of like something that's like $300 a year, something along that range. And if you're buying a property, to spend $300 to have access to this info should be a no-brainer. You'll spend double that on your appraisal. Actually, more than double that,
Yeah. Trying to put us out of business.
Well, it's not. So here's the thing. This is supposed to get them ready so that when they come to you, that you don't have to teach them as much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you'll just know. And it'll be our clients that pretty much use it. I don't think that like random people are going to find it, I mean, podcast listeners will find it, stuff like that. But it's a tool that I think is really sweet because it is not replacing a realtor. It's more like all these people who build all these spreadsheets and try to analyze properties that come on the market, the property that just came on the market, right. And then they lose it because they don't even know it was a good deal. This is to teach them what a good deal looks like before they start shopping. It's really, truly going to be.
What are you calling it?
Well, I always called this process bulk analyzing, but that was just like describing what it is. I think we got to come up with a better name. Because like we're analyzing the whole 12 months, the whole 2025, every single sale, so that you can find trends, right?
And then can this program actually? I ask you more off air, I think. Yeah, that's funny because Kevin and do you know Kevin and I are working on something also? Have I told you about this?
Yeah.
The wholesaler.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Our little pet project is taking all the best wholesaling companies in the Twin Cities, putting them into one portal. So it's like a mini MLS with like
for off market.
But for off market
in the Twin Cities, yep.
Which is I was thinking was going to be proprietary for people who hire me to be their agent, but maybe we would have to expand it a bit to pod listeners, I guess, to be determined.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a good episode. Thanks for all the sponsors. Scribante is helping a client of mine right now in St. Louis Park get that property under control after some bad management. And that's great.
I sent him a client last, probably about 2-3 weeks ago now too. I don't know if it amounted to anything. I just sent him
I should say RPM Viking. When we say Scribante, that's shorthand for RPM Viking.
Yep. Well, and I'm doing some really great business with Network too. They've been helping a lot of like buyer-seller sides. I have 2 deals where sellers are selling direct to buyers that are like their tenants,
Oh, interesting.
And cool. In both cases, Network just kills it. They make the process really smooth and seamless.
And of course, Shook Rentals. Lots of, Katie's working with Shook right now because I'm finally like quit claiming my rentals into LLCs.
Okay.
And getting separate bank accounts for each one, doing all the stuff that, everyone should do at some point. Mm-hmm. Shook Rentals, they are just the most helpful. Like, I have this new assistant and I don't have to worry about like training her on anything. Yeah. I just connect her with Oliver and I know he's going to help her,
Here's my thought. And granted, this is probably not as safe from a legal point of view, but from an accounting point of view, it helps a lot. If I were going to do what you're doing, I would do one bank account. I would do one management company and then and you can do different LLCs for each property, but 15 bank accounts sucks ass big time. It's awful. It's just horrible to live your life that way. You have to have 15 debit cards, one for each property then. And it's so much easier to have one bank account and then each property has its own, that you do.
I don't think you need 15 debit cards.
How do you buy something online for your rental then?
If everything
when it eventually breaks.
Yeah, you might be right. Because QuickBooks, you can assign it to the correct LLC, but then where does the money, when the statement is due, who pays it? Yeah, that's a good point.
It's just, I've encountered it before, and like you go to Home Depot and you need to buy something, and if you wanted to go to that bank account, I guess you could, so that's why if you have a management company, so it's like, whatever, Tafel management, right?
I have
and then that manages for all the different companies, and then you have like one account for your rentals. Now, again, I think there are some accountants that might tell, or some attorneys that might tell you that's not a great idea. But
That's the point. Yeah.
You have to live life too, you know?
Right. No, we're doing it the way the attorney's telling us to.
Got it.
And I don't ever buy anything for my properties, but
You could have a contractor buy everything, right? And then you just reimburse
I do.
your contractor.
And I send and then we can send the contractor money via Zelle from the bank account. But I'm fortunate enough to have like a full-time help now, so that makes it easier.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got to stop talking. All right.
Well, it's still an interesting combo for people.
Completely. No,
Two different ways to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Okay. Thanks for listening, guys. See you next week.
That's it for today's show. You can visit the TwinCitiesRealEstateInvesting.com website for show notes, tips, tricks, and other local real estate investing information. Adam and Tim would like to meet with you. To schedule a one-on-one meeting with either Adam or Tim, go to TwinCitiesRealEstateInvesting.com/schedule.